Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. We're absolutely delighted that you're back with us for the new season. We are looking forward to what we hope will be drama at the top and the bottom of the Scottish Premiership. And here to discuss it all, Alan Ruff, as ever, back with me alongside Barry Ferguson. And he is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Lots to get our teeth into. Of course, Ruffy and Barry have enjoyed the summer. Ruffy, as you can see, maybe the sun's affected his hair. Quite a lot of people thought there's been dye used there. And of course, Barry, just that natural little bit of colour there for him as well. Looking forward to the new season. And of course, no shortage of opinion on the programme. You can, of course, give us your thoughts on YouTube, and you can subscribe as well. So one of those headlines, it's put up the money. That's Jurgen Klopp, of course, that huge crowd at Murrayfield watching Napoli against Liverpool. And then after the match, clearly a lot of Scottish journalists wondering if Rangers were going to get Ryan Kent on loan. That door firmly shut, Barry.
Yeah, that'll be a disappointment to Rangers. Now, the only way that Liverpool let him go is big money. I think the price it's bandied about is £10 million. I really don't think Rangers could afford that, if I'm being honest. They would need to maybe get rid of Morelos to get that sort of money in. So Rangers will be really disappointed in that, because for me, last year, he was the difference for Rangers in a lot of the big games. Really impressed with him every time I seen him, and especially in that final third, he can come up with a bit of magic. So that one looks if it's going to be dead unless Rangers come up with money for somewhere.
Yeah, just on that permutation, Ruffy, I can't see if Morelos goes and suddenly Rangers decide they want to spend that money on Ryan Kent, he doesn't strike me as the prolific goal scorer that Morelos was last season.
No, I think Steven Gerrard would know that. He'll know what Kent brings to the team, but he certainly won't bring the same amount of goals that Morelos has scored. So that'll be something that in the back of his mind, if it's a massive decision whether Morelos is going to go or stay or whatever, you know, I'm sure if you asked him, he'd want the two of them. But that remains to be seen whether the money can be found for that to happen. But it would be a massive statement if the Rangers supporters were to pick up the papers and say, yeah, we're in for that. What a massive boost that would be for everybody.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you know, that statement in the press this morning, Barry, you know, claiming, you know, that Steven Gerrard had stated to Alfredo Morelos, it's time you told us what your intentions were. Well, I don't think he needs to tell him. I think basically the manager is looking and saying the club want him sold. I think Rangers want to sell him. Mm-hmm. The manager, if he stays, it'll be a huge bonus for him. I don't think Morelos will be the determining factor here. I think it's about whether Rangers can get somebody to plump, you know, £10 million into this deal.
Yeah, listen, for me, he was a big player for Rangers last season. There's no doubt about that. He scored a lot of important goals. The only bad side to him was his discipline at times. He's got to improve in that. But listen, if a team comes in and offers £10 million, I think Rangers would accept it. There's no doubt. They only spent £1 million on him, so it's £9 million clear profit on that. So if somebody does come in at that price, I think Rangers would seriously consider selling him.
Yeah, what do you make of Rangers? I've watched them against Progress Niederkorn. I thought there were good flashes of inspiration. Joe Aribi certainly impressed me. If anything, it was against a team from Luxembourg, but they still had to do the job.
Yeah, listen, it's still early doors in pre-season, but the early signs are good. I mean, he's brought in another 8 players. The board have backed him, there's no doubt about that, and in terms of wages, and also they've shelled out a bit of money in terms of transfer fee. So things are looking positive. It's still early. I'll reserve my judging to probably 4 or 5 games into the season, but the early signs that Rangers are certainly improving on last season, and that's what the Rangers fans at the end of the day want to see. They want to see Rangers seriously mount a challenge for the league. in this season it's all about getting a trophy, because it's been far too long.
I'll tell you one thing, he doesn't hang about with the mistakes that he's made because of the players that he brought in that haven't worked out for him. I think he'd be the first to admit hasn't worked out, so he starts offloading them. Kyle Lafferty, a complete waste of money. Eros Greda, equally so.
Yeah, if that's his strength, that he has sat down and looked at the players that aren't going to be any good to him. I don't think any Rangers supporters would question anybody that he's decided to let go, and that's a good thing for the club. It just remains to be seen if he just squeeze another couple of players in there, to give them a bit more strength.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be closer this year, Ruffy? I sense from Rangers fans they think it's going to be the season.
Yeah, I can see why. I can see why. I think year on year they look as if they've got more experienced players come in, better players have come in. As Barry said, it depends how quickly they get to gel together. And also the pressure's on Celtic now. The pressure's on when Rangers have proved in a 1-1 that they are capable of giving them a run for their money. It just depends whether they can do it for the whole season.
Well, if Morelos is an ongoing transfer saga, the Kieran Tierney one certainly is growing arms and legs as well. This just seems to go on and on and on. Napoli now, Carlo Ancelotti saying he's not interested in Kieran Tierney. Arsenal still have to come up with a deal that does not involve staggered payments.
Well, I'm surprised in terms of the staggered payments, because Arsenal will be short of a few pound. Do I see this happening? I've got a sense that Kieran Tierney would actually like to stay at Celtic. But listen, money talks. If they come in with a £25 million bid and that's straight into their bank account, I think Celtic will let him go. Look, for me, he is a fantastic young player. He's done ever so well at Celtic. But when you're talking that kind of money, and it's cash in the bank, I think Celtic will accept it.
Yeah, on the note of Celtic, we've talked about Rangers and their strengths. I watched the two qualifying games. I don't think they'll have too much trouble seeing off Toulouse in the second leg after that 5-0 thrashing. So I think Celtic will probably wait, as they often do, Ruffy, until the latter part of August to start, spending some of the huge amounts of money they have in the bank.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what the Celtic supporters have been waiting to see. Yeah, that they know that if they're going to get back to where they were 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm talking about Champions League stage, then they will need 2 or 3 better players with quality, because the present group are good enough for Europa Cup. But the Celtic supporters have been at the big time. They'll want to be back in there. It remains to be seen, what kind of players going to take them back in there. But they'll know once they get through this round that there are teams now lurking in the next round who Celtic have struggled against in numerous times throughout the season. So as you go down through the rounds, the quality gets better.
Yeah, well, they've added, of course, another signing today in Leo Hjelde. He's a young guy, very much in that Christopher Ayer mould, a Scandinavian who will come in and probably just learn the ropes of Celtic over the course of the season. They've added the right back as well, so they're clearly looking to try and strengthen in certain areas. I still think they're short of the spine of the team. I still think they need additions at centre half. A real, a tall physical midfielder I think is missing there, and then a striker.
I think the worry, they're trying to sort the defence out, which, right back was obviously a priority, and he's went and signed the Israeli guy. But for me, the worry for Celtic fans would be if Scott Brown, is he going to have the same sort of impact? He's another year older. That physical presence in the middle of the park, I'm sure they'll be looking at trying to get somebody in there, and plus I still think there's 1 or 2 short up front. So the Celtic fans will be expecting Celtic to splash the cash.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree that 2 strikers, a team like Celtic definitely isn't good enough. We saw both of them picking up injuries throughout the season, and if you're wanting to be challenging in all rounds of cups, and trying to get as far as you can in European football, I think you need another couple of quality players. And we keep saying this on the show all the time, number 10. I've seen so many number 10s in European sides, not top European sides, just guys who you would say, look, this guy can control a game. And I've said this about Barry on numerous occasions. Barry Ferguson's style of controlling the game. Some player that can just say, look, give me the ball, I'll dictate how this game's going to go. I don't see that in Celtic. I see a lot of enthusiasm in McGregor and Christie going forward, but not that kind of player who's going to turn the game. And you see European sides coming to Parkhead, and you see that number 10 in certain teams, and what a difference it makes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still think they need the striker definitely up there to try and give them that competition in the front line, because goals could be the key in so many games, and especially when you expect, both halves of Glasgow to be watching 60 to 70 matches that they could be facing over the course of this season.
Yeah, listen, I've heard Steven Gerrard make that point, and that's why he's going with a big squad. Because they played 60 odd games, and you're going to need a squad of 22, 23 players, and that's where I think Celtic do need to add. Certainly Rangers have done that this season, another 8 coming in. Celtic have only brought in, I think, 4 so far, so that's where I think the Celtic fans will be expecting Neil Lennon to go out and bring another 2 or 3 in.
Yeah, and of course it's Jakura Sak that Aberdeen managed a 1-1 draw with. Aberdeen, for me, I am hoping, along with Rangers and Celtic, can somehow secure group stage European football. I'm embarrassed by the Kilmarnock result, Ruffy. It's abysmal to think they could lose to the Welsh side.
Yeah, particularly with the result they had in the away game. I think the whole of the Kilmarnock supporters and the strength of last year would be expecting to get through to another round, and the disappointment was there for everybody to see, particularly the ones who had booked their holidays to go and see the game, which is a lot of money, that these supporters have laid out. And particularly with the players that they had last year that they've now lost, I'm sure a lot of supporters were saying, what are the owners going to do here? They need to act very, very quickly, because they'll expect Kilmarnock to be, again, not challenging for the top 2, but in that 3 or 4 on the strength of last year.
Yeah, but you don't expect, even with a 2-1 win away from home, you certainly don't expect a collapse of that nature, even with the red card.
No, he's put himself under pressure. I thought it was a strange appointment, if I'm being honest, because there are a lot of good Scottish managers out there that could have come in and done a fine job. Obviously, you're under pressure straight away when you come in with the job that Stevie Clarke had done. But no, that guy under pressure, the Kilmarnock fans won't be happy with that result.
Yep, we'll be keeping an eye on Mr. Alessio for the remainder of the season. See how he starts, see what his recruitment is like. Killie fans, you can give us your view on that. Of course, we mentioned the Dons there. They've got a number of players that I'm looking forward to seeing. And of course, Lewis himself will be developing in the middle of the park. And over and above that, Craig Bryson comes in. Ruffy, I like him. I liked him as a player, and I think he will add something to their midfield.
Yeah, and particularly when he went down south, he did particularly well down there as well. And at one stage, I think Rangers were interested in him maybe a season or 2 ago, because of the form that he was in. He's got bags of experience. I always thought he was going to break into the Scotland team, a lot sooner than what he did before he started coming into some squads. So obviously with Shinnie leaving, they'll be looking at him. They'll be looking at him to give the same kind of input that Shinnie gave, and I'm sure they won't be disappointed.
Yeah, well, the Scott McKenna saga at Aberdeen goes on and on, whether he'll be moving or not. Of course, they've brought back Ash Taylor. Curtis Main has been added to the strike force in the front line as well. I don't know, but I still think Aberdeen, for me, would be my tip for third.
Yeah, well, listen, Dale keeps doing this every summer. He loses players and he has to rebuild again. I think some of the signings, and the guy that you mentioned, I think he could be key at Bryson.
Yeah.
Big player. You mentioned Lewis. I think Lewis could learn a lot off of Craig Bryson. But again, as you mentioned, Curtis Main, who had a good season for Motherwell. Ash Taylor's been there before, dominating centre half. So he's done well with signings, Derek, and I think they'll look to challenge again. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our daily Peter and Ruffy football show on the YouTube channel, and you'll get notifications of when we're on, and of course our special features, one-to-one interviews, lots of competitions coming up, prizes as well. Alan Ruff and Barry Ferguson with me here Monday, Wednesday and Friday. We'll have special guests for you to enjoy, and of course we like to test your football knowledge. I think we started off with an easy one, 4 Champions League medals, and the manager still doesn't want them. There's a clue. Scottish clubs involved in Europe, we've already discussed that. Scottish clubs involved in the last 16 of the League Cup is certainly interesting. I always like to look at the start of the season, Ruffy, and see the knee-jerk reaction of fans, more and more now with social media, and of course, you guys were all involved in the media. The written press all seem to steam in and react as well. And I'm looking at some of the results. Hearts managed to get through to the last 16, but their last performance has certainly prompted a number of Hearts fans to continue their anger from last season towards Craig Levein.
Yeah, I don't think the Hibs fans were particularly happy with the end of the season. The way it turned out, obviously Craig Levein under a lot of pressure. They, again, as we're talking about other teams, would have probably expected better quality coming in. That hasn't happened. Craig usually goes the whole hog and brings in 8, 9, 10 players at the one go, but that seemingly hasn't happened this time. They will really need to start winning games, because I think the fans, like most of the fans who are challenging Rangers and Celtic, have big, high expectations of where their team's going to go, and so far this year it just hasn't happened.
Yeah, Hearts have qualified in this League Cup section, but the East Fife 1-1 draw was the one that really got the fans back up. I'm not sure what they're hoping for. What I think changes dramatically, Barry, is when Stevie Naismith comes into that side, they start to play football. They look like not a bad team. But if he's not there, I wonder what style of player they're going to try and bring in before the transfer window to try and maintain that style of football, rather than, some of the football I watched at the tail end of last season, they were abysmal.
Yeah, well, they certainly need to go and strengthen. That's without a doubt. Stevie Naismith, he's always going to be a big loss. Hearts are a different team. Let's not kid ourselves on. When he's in the team, they're a good team. When he's out the team, they struggle. So he needs to get signed and get on that pitch as soon as possible, because when he comes back into the team, he will make a difference. But Craig Levein's under a bit of pressure again. I think he struggled against Stenhousemuir as well last week. Then obviously these 5s draw. So it's not been a great start to the season. I know it's still early. We're still obviously just at the end of pre-season, but he will be putting himself under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, if you've got apathy from last season and then anger at the start of this season, suddenly, you start to get to that point where fans start to react. They don't come to the matches, Ruffy, and that's where the worry. I think Hibs will be the top drawer in the city of Edinburgh. I just think Heckingbottom managed to make that transition smooth from Neil Lennon, and I liked the way they played football, and he's added his own couple of players as well.
Yeah, the Hibs supporters will be waiting to see how that pans out. Obviously Scott Allen, we saw what he did the last time he was there. Obviously he had another couple of good young players beside him, but he's a joy to watch. He is somebody who can change a game very, very quickly. But again, I think they need a couple as well. Players coming in, they've lost a few, so it's up in the air for me just now. I still think Rangers and Celtic will be head and shoulders above everybody when it all pans out eventually, but then you've got to take a gamble on who you think's going to be behind that.
Yeah, can you see a quadruple treble this season, Ruffy?
Not a confident one, not by a long shot.
Yeah. Can you see a not confident quadruple treble, Ruffy?
No. I can see a very close one.
Yeah, but it's still a treble.
I don't think it'll be a treble.
Well, that's the question. We finally got there, Barry. Barry, you mentioned silverware. Does it need to be? I think the Rangers fans think it's got to be the title.
Yeah, not just the Rangers fans. I think Stephen Gerrard will be putting himself under a bit of pressure to make sure they get a bit of silverware this season. He said 12 months, and I thought it was a very good 12 months. He came in, certainly they went through a wee stage in February where they were struggling a wee bit, but they finished the season really strong. They got that monkey off their back with beating Celtic a couple of times. He's brought in 8 players, as we've mentioned earlier on. I do think that Rangers will mount a serious challenge, and I do think they will get some silverware this year.
Yeah, okay. You can give us your view, whether you agree with Ruffy and Barry. We're not quite going to pin them on who they think is going to win the title just yet. We'll maybe hang off for a couple of days, maybe to Friday. But they'll give us their opinion. You can give us yours on our YouTube channel. Do subscribe. Look out for some great competitions we've got. And of course, we've had a one-to-one with Morton's new Chief Executive, Davy McKinnon, on his hopes for the Ton in the Championship, whether they can get back to the Premier League. It's been a long time since I've been in there. But you can join in with all our exclusives, our one-to-ones and our competitions, and hopefully over the course of the season you'll join the ever-growing audience we have on our Facebook Lives and of course our YouTube channel. Thanks to Ruffy, thanks to Barry for joining us on the programme, and thanks to you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.